welcome back to our chair yoga class. Today for class, all you need is your chair, and we are going to start off nice and strong for our spring session. And our class today is all standing. So yes, you are going to be standing for the entire class today, but the great news is you have your chair that you will be leaning against. Another nice thing about this class is although it is meant to be completely standing, you are more than welcome to sit in the chair and do these poses as so. Every pose that we are doing is poses that we've done before, so you don't need to worry about like having no idea what you're doing basically. I will do my best to explain each pose as if you were sitting in a chair, but obviously for the full class I will be teaching it from a standing viewpoint for most of it. Okay? So why don't you get excited, stand on up here, go ahead, and we are going to do a couple exercises standing behind our chair first. So we will be going to the front and the back. So for viewing points, I am doing my front of the chair this way with the back this way. So we're gonna get started, okay? So let's go ahead and start at the back of our chair here with a cat-cow. So we want to be about a foot behind our chair here, hands resting on the top. As we inhale, we're going to bring our chest up, round our back, and exhale, bringing our shoulders, rounding our spine here. So inhale, opening up our chest towards the sky, rounding our neck. Exhale, think belly button towards the spine. And just follow your own breathing pattern here. And if you're sitting, which I hope you're not sitting yet, it's the same thing. Gotta really extend. Try to make a C with your back here. Really open up that chest. And then really squeeze your chest together, rounding your spine. Dropping your chin towards your chest. Let's do one more here. Good. As you exhale, round your spine. Let's take a step back here. Nice and easy. Take a deep breath in. We're going into our half lift. So we're going to hinge at our hips. Keep our arms nice and long. And then once you feel like your back is nice and straight, go ahead and rest here. Keep a slight bend in your knees, all right? Slight little bend here. If you're doing this from your seated position, you're just hinging at your hips. Elbows rested outward, again, keeping a nice flat back. And make sure you're keeping your neck in line, okay? Like I said, I'll walk you through this so you don't need to look at me here. Just really feel that nice stretch through the lower back and hips. And just take a few more breaths here. You really feel those lungs expand here. Let's do one more big breath. And as you exhale, slowly bring yourself up, walking back towards your chair. And lastly, the last thing we're going to do behind our chair for this sequence is some side bends. So we're going to inhale, bringing one hand up. And as we exhale, leaning towards the side. Nice and easy, bring it back. Same thing repeated on the other side. Inhale, bringing our right hand or whatever hand you didn't begin with up. Exhale, leaning towards our left or leaning towards that opposite side. And bring it back. All right, do a couple of these here. Again, you have that chair in front of you for support, so trust your body. Just a nice stretch here. Again, we want to maintain a little bit of bend in our knees. Again, this is the same exact thing you're doing if you're seated in a chair, so all on the same page. Good. We're going to do one more each way here. Nice big side stretch. Perfect. Last one here. Take those nice full deep breaths. Really feel that expansion. And return to center. All right, we're gonna switch over to the front of our chairs. Like I said, a little bit of moving around here today. And we are going to start with our triangle. So to begin, we want our hand. We're gonna start with our left hand on our chair. All right, our legs are again about a foot away from our chair. Slight bend here. We're gonna inhale, raising our right hand towards the sky. So here's our standing triangle pose. Again, if you are seated here, you just have your left hand dropped with your right hand lifted. We're just doing a nice little twist here, kind of massaging those internal organs. And if you want, you can always add some wrist circles. I know you can't see my hand, but I feel like moving today, so good. Take a big deep breath. Good. All right, now we're going to go into a leg lift here, so I'm pretty tight against the wall. So again, we're in our modified triangle. And on our next inhale, I want you to just slightly raise that right leg. So left hand, left leg are placed down. All right, even if you just go onto your tippy toes and not stay flat-footed, we want to try to raise up. Again, just modified triangle. Again, if you are seated, just stay in your triangle position here. And maybe balance isn't where it's at today. Maybe you're not comfortable doing this yet. You can always just place the tippy toes down. You'll still feel a nice stretch. Give me one more big breath. Exhale. Bring everything back down. Now we're going to switch over to our right side. So same sequence here. Placing the right hand in the middle of the chair. All right, again, feet are about a foot away. Inhale, bringing our left hand up nice and high. Again, slight bend in our knees, a little bit of bend in our elbow here. Good, maintain this for a couple more breaths. So again, if you're seated here, you have your right hand towards the floor, left hand is pointed nice and high. One last big breath here. Perfect, so now on our next exhale, we're going to lift the left leg. So now our right hand and right leg are firmly on the ground. All right. Left hand and left leg are raised in the air. Again, if you're not quite comfortable with that left leg in the air, you can always just place your tippy toes, or you can stay in the triangle, whichever you're comfortable with. But again, just have a slight little bend here. Nice full deep breaths. Last one here. Good. Go ahead and exhale. Both hands are coming down to our chair. All right, so as we come back, we're in our half lift here. So just on the front side, half lift. Now we're going to go into downward dog. So we're going to step back just slightly, a couple of feet between our feet in the chair. Again, slight bend in the knees. All right, and now I want you to come down onto your forearms if possible, or you can keep them extended, whichever here. And right now, your butt should just be slightly higher, so you should feel a nice stretch through your glutes and your hamstrings. Again, this is our modified downward dog. Again, just relax. Just keep a slight bend in your knees. If you're feeling like this is very uncomfortable, you can always walk your feet in towards your chair. All right, go ahead and modify as needed. Good. Let your neck dangle here. And now if you want, you can add a little bit of movement, adding a slight bend to your knees, a little bit of pedaling with our feet. Feel a nice stretch to the calf muscle here. You're really going to feel a nice stretch to that whole posterior chain. Good. Just nice and easy, downward dog. We're going to hold it for a couple more breaths here. Again, you don't need to be looking at me. Even if you're doing this in a chair, this is going to be more like a forward fold for you. So you can, if you're seated, forward fold. all the way to the floor here. Good, take a big deep breath. Exhale, push yourself back up into our halfway lift. Now we're going to do our threading of the needle here. So to start with, we're going to keep our right hand on the chair. We're going to inhale, nice and big breath. As we exhale, we're going to swing our arm underneath of our right hand. So our left hand is coming across our body here. And again, we're just getting a nice shoulder stretch here. A little bit of twisting of that core here again. Take a big deep breath and release. We'll do this a couple times on each side. So now switching, left hand stays on our chair. We inhale, right hand comes up nice and high. Exhale, bring it underneath our armpit to the opposite side of the chair and just let it rest up against there. And again, you'll feel that nice stretch to that right shoulder, a little bit of a twist in the core. And again, make sure you have a slight bend with your knees. And if you're doing this seated, it's the same exact thing, except your hand will be more resting upon your thighs. Good. Inhale, come back to center. Let's do it 2 more times on each side here. Breathing in, left hand raises. Exhale, coming towards the front. And remember, if at any point you have decided that the standing is not working, you can do this entire class seated, so don't just stop the class. Go ahead and just take a seat and follow along. Perfect. Let's do one more time. Another time with our right hand. Inhale. Exhale, thread that needle, bring that arm all the way under. Again, if you're seated, your arm is going under your arm and resting on your thigh. Good. Last time each way here. And thread that needle, bring it under nice and low. Give a nice twist here. Good job. Sticking with me here. We're going to hold this pose just a little bit longer right now. Give me one more big breath. Exhale, release. Beautiful. Last time with our right. Nice and big twist. And coming down. Again, holding our pose a little bit longer. Good. Give me 2 more big breaths here. Last one. Go ahead and release. Come to a standing position here. I know that's a lot on our shoulders, so we're just going to take a moment here. Do a little bit of shoulder rolls. Let's bring them up and back. Go ahead and switch directions, bringing them up, forward, opening up that chest. Let's go ahead and just do some arm swings, cross-body arm swings. And go ahead and let yourself sway side to side. Beautiful. One last thing we're going to do with our back, we're going to do our forearm stretch. So nice and easy. We're going to go ahead and lean on our chair again. But now when we do this, we want to rotate our hands so that our fingers are pointed back at us here. So think starting normally, your fingers are pointed forward. And then just nice and easy, we want to rotate them outward. All right. If you're able to, we do want to get to the point where we eventually have our hands all the way back. So our fingers are pointed towards us. If that is just not in the cards for you, you can always just rotate them out to the side. Just doing a nice little forearm stretch here. If you're doing this seated in a chair, what you'll do is you'll just place one arm with your palm down bringing your opposite hand to the fingers and pushing them towards you. So you're going to break this stretch up into 2 different parts. And I'll let you know when to switch here. But again, if you are doing the standing portion with me here today, your rest of your body's basically in a half lift. And just feeling that nice stretch to the forearms. Good. If you're doing this seated, you're going to switch hands now. So again, hand comes out in front, palms facing out, fingers are down. Just bringing those fingers back towards you, feeling a nice stretch to the forearm. Good. Give me a couple more breaths here. Last one. Exhale, go ahead and round your spine up. We are done with the leaning on our front portion. So we are going to move again to the back of our chair where we'll remain for the rest of class. So if you don't mind me. All right, so go ahead and wiggle your fingers here. A little bit of different chair yoga with us standing for the whole class, but I feel like we're doing a great job together here. So as we start, we want to be facing the back of our chair. All right, so seat is against us. We're going to go into our chair pose. So how this is going to look is that I want everyone to make sure that their feet are a little bit wider than shoulder width apart. Basically, when you look at your chair, it should be wider than the legs of the chair. Toes are slightly pointed outward as well. What we're going to do is holding the back of our chair, we're going to think pushing our butt out and then dropping into a squat, okay? So again, we're sitting nice and tall. Think pushing the weight back, so the weight's on our heels, and just slight bending our knees. Hold this pose. Exhale, return to stand. So we're gonna break this chair pose up into a couple different series here. Take a big deep breath in. Exhale, nice and easy. Drop those hips into our chair pose. Great job. Keep that chest up nice and high, so don't bend your spine. Okay, engaging our core here, really building strength. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, return to standing. Okay, we're gonna do this 3 more times, so stick with me here. Exhale, down into our squat. Or our chair pose, I should say. Inhale, exhale, return to standing. 2 more times here, okay? I don't know about you, but my legs are definitely feeling this. It's a great yoga move that also requires a lot of strength, so nice to fit this in when our bodies are kind of getting tired from standing. Beautiful, return to standing. We're gonna do that 1 more time. Really feel those legs burn. Here we go, inhale. Exhale, down into that squat. Okay, we're gonna hold this just a little bit longer, so maintain that strong core. Tell yourself you are strong, you are capable. 1 more big breath here. Exhale, return to standing. Now, what we'll do, we're going to do a slight calf stretch. So it doesn't matter which leg, go ahead and place your leg forward. I'm going to start with my left leg forward here. Right leg is going to take just a slight bend back. And we're going to lean into our chair here. So left leg is going to have a slight bend to it. All right, and you should really feel a nice stretch to that right calf here. And again, go ahead and rest your body into your chair, really pushing in. And just enjoy the moment. Does it feel that nice stretch? Maybe with the weather getting nice, you were able to get out and walk. Give me 1 more breath here. And beautiful, return to our standing. We're gonna switch sides here, so taking a step back with our right, our left leg, I should say. And then just nice and easy bending into our right leg again, putting all of our weight onto our chair here. Feeling that nice stretch to that left calf. Good, give me one more big breath here. Exhale, return to standing. Next, we're going to go into our heel toe raise. So this is going to help with our balance here. We're going to inhale, and as we inhale, coming up onto our tippy toes. Exhale, rocking back onto our heels. So inhaling, we come up. Exhaling, we rock back. So take your time following your own breathing here. But this is going to help with a little bit of calf strengthening, a little bit of ankle mobility. And with these calf raises, we're going to help send that blood back up to our heart. But again, that chair is in front of you, so feel free to lean on it for support. Okay, let's do one more here. Rising up onto those heels. And rocking on. Good. Go ahead and just do a little bit of a march here. Again, a little bit of swaying side to side, just getting that blood moving here. All right, we're almost done with today's yoga practice, so great job sticking with me. Beautiful. So now we're going to go into a forward lunge here. So again, if you're standing, stick with me. If you are doing this portion on your chair, I'm going to want you to scoot to the side. So I'm going to start with my left leg out. So if you're seated, your left leg is going to be coming backwards. All right, so we're going to be a little bit of flipped here. But again, if you're standing, we're going to step forward with that left leg into a forward lunge. So again, leaning on my chair, coming forward. And with this forward lunge, we're going to have a slight bend in our left leg. And we're going to feel an opening in our hips on our right. So again, if you are doing the seated, it's just the opposite, where your right leg is staying forward and your left leg is coming back, and you'll feel the stretch to your left. So seated is doing the same movement, just feeling the stretch in the opposite leg. But when we do our lunge, we want to maintain a nice, strong upper body. Again, holding that chair for support. I know you can't see because I'm a Betty, but I'm gripping the chair. Good. Now with one hand, we're going to inhale, raising our hands up into Warrior One. And then exhaling, dropping into Warrior Two. So with this, we're going to twist the opposite direction. So our left hand is coming back. Our left leg is forward. Good. Beautiful. Go ahead and drop it and step together. So now we'll repeat that on the opposite side. So now, again, if you're seated, you're going to switch to the opposite side of your chair. So now right foot is going to come forward into a forward lunge. All right, so again, we're going to feel this in the opposite. So if you are doing this standing, you're going to feel a nice opening through that left hip flexor. If you're doing this seated, you're going to come to the right side of your chair, and your right leg is going to come back, feeling the stretch through the right side. But either way, it's going to be the opposite of the leg before. Again, if you're standing, please, 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 you have this chair, please use it. Beautiful. Feel that nice stretch and opening through the left hip flexor or the right hip flexor, whatever it may be. Let's take a big deep breath, going into Warrior One. And exhale, twisting the opposite direction into Warrior Two. Good. Hold it here one more second. And come together. Good. Perfect. Go ahead and make your way back behind your chair. We're going to go into our goddess pose. So again, if you're doing this seated, just coming to the front of your chair here. We're going to take our legs nice and wide no matter what. So I'll do this from an angle so you can kind of see this better. So legs are nice and wide whether you're seated or standing. If you're standing, we're going to drop our hips. All right. Again, just holding onto that chair. So we're going to work those inner thighs here. Again, if you're standing, it's going to feel a little bit more of like a strengthening yoga. If you're seated, again, it's just a nice stretch. If you're seated, go ahead and hinge at your hips, pushing open. If you're standing, you can maintain this goddess pose here, or you can hinge as well. But again, we just want to make sure our legs are nice and wide, opening up here. Good, go ahead and inchworm your legs back together. Perfect, so whether you're seated or standing, legs are together in front of us here. Let's go ahead and inhale, raising up onto our calves. So calf raises, seated or standing. And we're not going to do that heel toe rock that we did earlier, so just inhaling, coming up onto our calves, and exhaling, returning to the floor. Same motion if you're seated. Good. Find strength and balance. The chair is here to support you, whether that's to support you by you leaning on it or you sitting. Either way, you are grounded, you're supported here. Good. Let's do 3 more. And last one here. Good. So maintaining that seat at the front of the chair standing. We're going to inhale. And as we exhale, we're going to do a back bend. So just think of rounding your spine, making a nice C shape. So again, we inhale. Exhale, bend that back. Get a nice stretch to the abdominal. And then return to a neutral back. Do a couple of these here, following your own breath. Let's do 2 more here. And last one. Beautiful. Let's go ahead, finish out our class with just a quick minute or 2 of deep breathing here. Whether you're seated or standing, go ahead, find a comfortable position. And whether you do this eyes open or closed, just take a few deep breaths. And again, just taking a moment to congratulate yourself on getting through class, whether that was you did this entire class standing, you did a couple of the poses standing, you did it all sitting, but you still made it through the class, you just showed up and pressed play today. Be proud of the work that you put in for yourself. Two more deep breaths here. And last one. All right, everyone, that is the end of our chair yoga class. Thank you again for joining me. I appreciate you sticking with me, even though this class was all standing and it might have been more of a challenge, especially for us just restarting our spring session. But I know at home you guys did a great job with this, and I'm so excited to see you again next week. Thank you.